Final game of the year, and what better way to end it than against the New England Patriots? What is up, thin fans? Miami Dolphins home taking on the New England Patriots. Long history with this team, and it's funny that it comes down to this. Wish it was to get into the playoffs. If the Dolphins would have beat the Tennessee Titans last week, this is a win and you're in game for the Dolphins and potentially losing your out game for both teams. So there's a lot to talk about in this one. Still a lot on the line for the Dolphins. You might be saying, why would I watch this game? Why would I root for this game? First and foremost, because you're a Dolphins fan. You're a diehard Dolphins fan. This isn't the Dolphins against the Bengals. This isn't the Dolphins against the Cardinals. This isn't the Dolphins against any team that they don't have a history with. Because you could say Chicago, they have a history with Chicago. You know, you could say certain teams. This is the Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. And there's a lot to talk about with this. Before we jump into all that good spicy stuff, I got to shout out first some new members. You guys hit that member button. Thank you so much for joining. And Reese Taylor and Don Davis, thank you guys so much for being members. Again, if you want to be a member, you just hit the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you don't see it below the video, I think it's on the homepage. And if you'd like to become a patron, that is linked in the description. Also give you a little quick rundown about kind of how next week is going. I'm going to be doing a review, year in review. We're going to talk about the entire season. I'm going to kind of go game by game, thoughts, processes, all that stuff. There's two people I'm not going to really talk about. Tua Tagovailoa, Ryan Flores. They're getting their own videos. So Tua Tagovailoa is getting his own video. Because if I talked about Tua, Flores, and the year in review, the video would probably be an hour long because there's a lot I want to talk about. So Tua is getting his own video, Flores is getting his own video, and the year in review is getting their own video. Then I'm going to be talking about coach moves. I'm going to be talking about free agencies, re-signings, cuts. There's so much. And we're so close, less than 800 to get to 30,000 subs. So if you haven't, hit that subscribe button if you like what you are hearing and seeing and feeling in your loins. But without further ado, let's jump into this preview of the Miami Dolphins home taking on this New England Patriots team. First thing I want to bring up, throwbacks. They wore them once. They wore the throwbacks once. It was against the Colts and they lost. You gonna wear them again? Now, they kind of hinted that they would wear them Sunday. And if the Titans, again, I'm going to keep saying this because it really sucks. If the Dolphins would have beat the Titans, then that's the perfect time to wear your throwbacks. Home against the Patriots to get into the playoffs? Yes. But I still haven't heard about them wearing their throwbacks. So it'd be a nice way to go out, wear their throwbacks again in this game. But we'll see. We'll see how that all pans out. Also, I talked about this a little bit in a previous video, I think the Big O video. They activated center Spencer Pulley and guard Deval Neto from the practice squad onto the active roster. I find that very interesting. I think they're going to mess around with the offensive line a little bit. So I'll talk about that when I go into my prediction. I normally give you guys some information when I go into the prediction aspect of it. Let's look at the injury report. Pop up the Dolphins first. Jesse Davis, Isaiah Ford, John Jenkins, Philip Lindsay, Emmanuel Ogbah, Preston Williams, all for full participants, and then Devontae Parker had a veteran rest day. There's so many names on this list that I'm going to be talking about this offseason. Again, hit that subscribe button, and then you look at the New England Patriots. The defensive back, Kyle Duggar, he did not participate for the 2 days. And then Neslin Aguilar, David Andrews, Christian Bamore, Cody Davis, Nick Folk, Damian Harris, Deontay Hightower, Jacoby Myers. If you live in Jersey, there's these lawyers. Jacoby, song keeps popping in my head. Adrian Phillips and Isaiah Wynn, limited for 2 straight days. I find that interesting. They already clinched, so are they going to play these guys? Are they going to rest these guys? I will talk about that. So let's jump into the 5 things that the Miami Dolphins need to do if they want to beat this New England Patriots team. And again, I've heard people say, why? Who cares? Yada, yada, yada. I will get to that. But again, it's the Patriots. I want to beat the Patriots. I don't care. When we were 2-12 and they were 12-2, we played them on Monday night. It felt so good to beat them with A.J. Feely as our quarterback. I don't care what our record is. I don't care if there's nothing on the line. Beat the Patriots. So, again, these are the 5 things the Dolphins need to do if they want to beat this New England Patriots team like they did week 1. We'll throw a little jab in there. Again, no specific order. Just I listed them 1 to 5. Number 1 on my list is stop the run. This New England Patriots team has a very good run game. They are 8th ranked in the NFL when it comes to rushing. Very good run game. They have a very good run game. I'm going to talk about that in a second. When it comes to their defense, Mac Jones has it very well around him. He has a very good offensive line in front of him. He has a very good run game. That opens up so much for the offense. So to help shut that down a little bit, we need to stop the run. We had a very hard time stopping the run against the Tennessee Titans. Their offensive line magically got healthy for that game, a big pivotal game for both teams because now the Titans are kind of the front runners for that number 1 seed. They're in the driver's seat for that. And the Dolphins got eliminated because they could not stop the run. And they couldn't do anything on offense, obviously. But they couldn't stop the run. So a lot of it was them running, and then the Dolphins would try to commit to stop the run. They'd have a tight end go in and block, go out, be butt naked wide open for both passing touchdowns from Tannehill. Had a lot to do with the run, a lot to do with the play action, a lot to fake handoff and then have Tannehill roll the other way on 3rd and shorts, first down, because we would bite on the run because we were so focused on stopping the run. If you actually stop the run, you don't have to worry about that. You force Mac Jones to throw it more, then all of a sudden you get that Mac Jones who threw 2 interceptions in 2 games and looked very pedestrian, to say the least. So stop the run and force them to go one-dimensional. If we're going to stop the run, we had a running back in Duke Johnson who said he wants to come back. He said he loves Miami. He said he wants to stay with this team. I hope he does come back. 7 yards per carry. Well, Doug, he had 2 big runs for 15 yards, and they were down. Why would they run it? Because those 2 runs for 15 yards were on 1 drive in the first quarter. Why'd you stop running it? Why'd you stop running it? I'm going to get to that. This is going to be the next one on my list. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that. Run the ball. They're 22nd ranked in the rush defense when it comes to the New England Patriots. Their pass defense, 4th. But I'll say this. Last time Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa faced a very good pass defense, Cincinnati Bengals. What is wrong with me? Carolina Panthers, the Dolphins won. Tannehill had a really good game. But I still want to run the ball. I still want to control the clock. I want to keep their offense on the sideline because their run game is really good, and it worries me. Our defense is good, but it's not good enough to make me feel comfortable stopping their run game. Run the ball. Kind of coinciding with what I was talking about with run the ball. When, we stopped running the ball. Better coaching. I said this last week. I said better coaching in the preview last week. And not many, but a few got a little aggravated, a little angry with me. Call me an idiot. Dog, better coaching? How the heck do you think we won 7 straight? It was the coaching. Tell me that Titans game had good coaching in it. Please, look me in the eyes and tell me that Titans game had good coaching in it. Let Mike Gesicki tell you about the coaching.
In terms of it changing or altering the game plan, did you guys have like a rain game plan?
No.
Didn't prepare. Didn't change any preparation. Because I got hemorrhoids from watching that game. You are in the elements. I knew in my preview that I recorded Thursday, put out Friday, that it was going to be rainy, snowy, windy. I talked about it in my preview. But the Dolphins' game plan from their 2, possibly 3 offensive coordinators going into that game was to push the ball down the field. to make your quarterback throw it, regardless if his finger's good, which if it's not 100% and still trying to grip a wet, cold ball is going to be hard. But the fact that he doesn't have big hands is going to make it harder. The fact that the offensive line isn't great, so he's going to have pressure, is going to make it harder. Better coaching, better decisions, the trick plays, the end around to, I think it was to Ford, back to the running back, to Gesicki, and then Gesicki just tosses the ball up. Get a nice 45-yard pass to Jalen Waddle. That looks great. Now we're going to call a wildcat play where we're going to line Tua up at wide receiver, and then I think it was Gaskin pitches it back to him on an end around, but we're going to have 2 routes run out, and the Titans defense feared our rush game none. So they just dropped everyone back into coverage, and then Tua gets sacked. These are the plays that you're thinking of in these scenarios. Like, this is what I'm talking about with better coaching. Preparing, game planning. Like, come on. Better coaching. And if you get mad at me for this again, you didn't watch last game, because I was right. Coaching, quarterback play, those are the 2 things that lost us the game. I already talked about that. Number 4 thing the Dolphins need to do. New England, very good team, obviously, sitting there at 10-6, clinching a playoff berth. You can't make mistakes, especially with Bill Belichick. Don't give him more opportunities to do something. The Dolphins are not good on offense. That's no secret. I'm not opening a vault and letting you know the secrets of the U.S. government. That ain't a secret. Tennessee, on the other hand, gave the Dolphins a plethora of chances to get back into that game. We were on their side of the field about 4 or 5 drives. We were in their red zone about 3 drives. We did nothing with it. That's the difference between a good team and a bad team. If we did that with New England, if we were up by 17 and we gave New England that many shots in our red zone on our side of the field, we would lose that game. Can't be making mistakes, whether it comes to turnovers, whether it comes to stupid penalties. But at some point, the stupid penalty, these refs are so bad, you cannot commit a penalty, Liam Eichenberg, and still get called for the penalty. But try not to. Try to make it less apparent. But no mistakes. No mistakes. And the 5th and final thing, be a spoiler. I ain't talking about on a car. Be a spoiler for the New England Patriots. Now, we can't spoil the fact that they get knocked out of the playoffs. They're in there, you know. They're in there like swimwear. But be a spoiler in the fact of that us and the Bills and the Jets are playing at the same time. I wish it was at 1 o'clock. I don't know why they moved both games to 4. But be a spoiler in the aspect of don't let them win the division. Don't let them win the division. Hold them out of the division. Because if Buffalo beats the Jets, they're the division winners. Cool, fantastic. Great to you. I'm tired of seeing New England be the division winner and putting up another flag and all that stuff for the past 23 years. It's getting boring. You can go back to the 90s where the Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4 of them. That seems more fun to me anyway. So, no offense, Bills fans, but I prefer you guys to be the division winner. Be spoiler. That being said, let's jump into this a little bit more. I'm gonna piggyback on that being a spoiler. 2020, 2019, 2015. What do those have to do with anything? Well, 2020, we were the reason that the Patriots' playoff chances went down the pooper. We beat them, and they got eliminated from the playoffs. 2019, we beat them. A horrible team. Absolutely. 2019 was a practice squad team. We beat them, forcing them to go to Tennessee. No. Tennessee, they had to face Tennessee. My brain is not working correctly. They lost. Knocked them out of the playoffs. Dunzo. Tom Brady leaves. Everyone starts leaving. Gronkowski leaves. Everyone starts leaving. And they fall apart. 2015. Doug, why is 2015 a spoiler? I don't understand that. Well, it was the last week of the season, week 17. The New England Patriots heading down to Miami. They're sitting there at 12-4. The Dolphins were sitting there at 6-9. 12-3. Dolphins sitting there at 6-9. And this is if the Patriots won, they got the number 1 seed. Well, they didn't. They lost to the Dolphins 20-10. Dolphins had nothing to play for, but Ryan Tannehill, Devontae Parker, fantastic game, beat the Patriots, forcing the Patriots to go to Denver to face Peyton Manning and the Broncos, and they lost. Be a spoiler, not only in the aspect of don't have them win the division, but in the way of not having them to win the division, then they become a wild card and they have to travel. Don't know how that goes. The other thing that they're playing for, back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since 2000 and 2001, when the Dolphins went 11-5 for both of those seasons. It'd be the first time in that long that the Dolphins had back-to-back winning seasons. 10-6, 9-8. It's not a winning season, 500 or below. Something you can hang your hat on. And also better draft picks. Right now, the 49ers are 9-7. They have to take on the Rams, who are 11-5. And the Rams are playing for something, because if the Rams lose, there's a potential that they can not win the division. So they're going to be playing for something. They're going to be playing hard. And if the Rams beat the 49ers and the Dolphins beat the Patriots, they're both sitting there at 9-8. And we'll see where that draft pick goes. We might be right on them or right above them, and all of a sudden, we get a better draft pick. And the last thing I'm going to talk about before I give you guys my prediction on this one is New England has a hard time in Miami, right? The overall record of the Dolphins taking on the Patriots is 58-54. Miami has a 4-game lead on the New England Patriots after week 1 beating them. New England in Miami, 9-13. So they are 4 games below 500. Also, to put the feather in the cap, to kind of just make it feel a little bit better, right? Because a lot of Patriot fans are getting spicy. I see you in the comment section. We're in your heads. We're in your heads. You can admit it. You're so glad that we lost to Tennessee, because now you have to face the Dolphins with really nothing to play for in Miami, where you can't win. You haven't won in Miami in quite a while, and your season was almost on the line, and you were nervous. Because I see a lot of Patriot fans in my comment section. I see it. I read your comments. You can act all high and mighty. We clinched with Mac Jones, a rookie. He hasn't done anything. Mac Jones is a placeholder. Bill Belichick literally tells him, don't do anything. I don't want you to do anything in this game. And they beat the Bills. Oh, just do me a favor. Throw dink and dunk stuff. We'll get you the best offensive line, the best defense, the best running game. I don't want to hear anything about Mac Jones. But we're in your head. You come to my channel, comment below, which I appreciate. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the views. And thank you for being interactive. I'm not telling you to stop doing it. We're in here. We're in here. You didn't want us to beat Tennessee. And you didn't want this game to have more on the line than it does. You didn't want it because you knew you guys do not play well in Miami. Especially last game of the season. But again, you guys lose and we win. There's a 1-game difference. New England Patriots would be 10-7, and the Miami Dolphins would be 9-8. 10-7, and we would sweep you. For the first time in a very, very long time, the Dolphins would sweep the Patriots and only be 1 game below you guys. 1 game below you guys. The team that started 1-7. The team that sucked for 7 straight weeks. The team that hasn't beaten a good team would be 1 game below you guys. We played the same schedule. And those are the things that make me want to win this game. Nothing, it just has no implication. We might not even have our first overall pick. We might trade it for Deshaun Watson. But that last thing I said to you, 10-7, 9-8, 1 game, getting in the Patriots' head, being a spoiler, that's what the division rivalry brings. And that makes me want to win this game. And we're going to win this game. I'm predicting a 20-17 victory. The Dolphins are going to win this game. And Sanders is going to win this game for us with a late second field goal. I'm going to talk about Sanders in the year in review. Jason Sarney came with some really good facts about my man Sandman. So, very interesting game. But again, Patriots fans, I hope it's a healthy game. I hope none of your guys get injured. I don't wish injury on anybody, especially because you guys are going into the playoffs. I hope it's a healthy game for both teams. Dolphins might be resting starters at some point if you guys blow us out, but I do want to win for the reasons I said. So, good luck. Hope you lose. But comment below if you're a Patriot fan. Let me know. Let me hear it. I love hearing from you guys and Dolphin fans. If I missed anything, comment below and let me know. And I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. Now, this one comes from Joey, and it's a little long. I'll try to read it fast. I tend to not pick long comments because it's me sitting here reading to you like it's a Winnie the Pooh story or something with like Christopher Robin or something reading the voiceovers. But I'm going to try to read this one quickly because it's a good question. He says, long-time listener, first-time commenting. Doug, love your show. It's given me a whole new appreciation for this team and the game. Especially love your film breakdowns. I have a question for comment of the day. If you do as Big O says and replace the entire offensive staff, isn't that basically the same thing as starting another rebuild? And if we ask Tua to learn his third scheme in 3 years, are we just setting him up for failure again? It sounds a lot like what we did to Tannehill. That's all. Stay classy, fins up. Appreciate it, Joey. Again, it was a good question. That's why I wanted to pick it, but I tend to not pick lengthy ones because I don't want to sit here and read to you guys forever. But if we do tear down the offense, right, and we start fresh, fun fact, the Dolphins and Brian Flores have been doing that for 3 straight years. Chan Gailey, Chad O'Shea, now we have the 3 OCs. Every year, it's a different OC. Every year, it's a different offense. It ain't different. But here's the thing. And you brought up Tua, right? First off, I don't know if Tua's going to be here, but I'm going to answer that if I want him or not in the Tua video. But here's the thing. If you have a good OC and you have a good head coach, whoever your quarterback is, you build to their strengths. You build around them. I'll talk about that in the Tua video. So like with Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, trying to name other specific types of quarterbacks, you see what type of offense they run and you see what type of offense they run well, and then you implement that as your offense. Now, Tua runs the RPO well, but he can run other things, but I don't understand. I'm not going to go too far into detail. I don't understand what they're doing with that. But when Joe Burrow came to Cincinnati, Zach Taylor said, we are going to take LSU's offense and we're going to make it our offense. So Joe Burrow has that easy transition. Same thing with the Chargers. They brought in a very good offensive coordinator in Lombardi who worked with Drew Brees to implement an offense for Justin Herbert that will make him better. So I don't necessarily think it'd be a bad thing if Tua is still on the team and they bring in another OC, because now they're bringing in a guy who's hopefully better, more experienced, not a first-time OC, first-time offensive line coach, who can implement an offense that suits Tua better and brings out his strengths and hopefully gives him a run game. So right now we don't have a run game, so that really hinders half of what Tua does well, which is the RPOs and the play action. Because the first letter in RPO, R, stands for run. And it's the first letter because it's that important to run an RPO and have a run game. Because if not, they don't, appreciate or they don't respect the run, and they more focus on the P in the pass. That's what they've been doing, shutting down our offense. So that being said, no. And I think they should. I think they should tear a new offense coordinator, new offensive line coach, and then let the offensive coordinator bring in his guys when it comes to wide receivers, running backs, conditioning, whatever they want to do. Let them do it. If I'm Brian Flores, that's what I'm doing. But I'll talk more about that in Brian Flores' video. But Joey, I hope I answered your question. I will see you guys on Saturday, 4:25. I wish it was 1 o'clock, but 4:25. Last game of the season. It'll be a fun one. My dad said he's going to be here, but we're going to have to be quiet because the baby goes to sleep at 5:30. So it's going to be a whisper fest. But I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I have a ton of videos planned for next week. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.